This is about the actions. This is the thing, what the purpose of the song is in the context of your essay, and then how it achieves this purpose.
Okay.
So if it's going to like for an in-your-face, explicit attitude and the disparity between the juxtaposition of the pleasant with the unpleasant, that's a way you could look at it. You know how the lyrics are grammatically sometimes in the song, there's like a line about something being sweet and nice, and then there's a line about a burning body. That thematically you could organize that to structure it as a way of the distinction between how African American and white individuals were treated by society. That the juxtaposition in the song of a pretty line versus a line that has been, is about just like destructive imagery, that's essentially what was happening to African Americans in society. So thematically, you could do an essay about the social injustice that the African Americans faced in relation to the song, how the lyrical structure is set up. That not only through the actual imagery of the lyrics, but through just the way the stanzas are set up and there's contradictory lines, that's a way of Billie Holiday expressing how unfairly and how hypocritically African Americans were treated. I mean, look at the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence. Every man is created equal, but that was not true. So, or at that time it wasn't. So thematically, that might be a way you could. It takes a while to actually look at it and try to figure it out, but it's essentially placing the song in the context of an argument or a theme that you want to discuss and how it relates to that. So do you see what I mean by the social disparity is mirrored in the song, and you can rework that section to be about the social disparity and how it's mirrored in the song. You can still incorporate sense imagery. You can still incorporate everything you've talked about here. The intense violence, the examples, the observations you've made here. You can keep them in your paper and they'll still work. But you can keep them and structure them around this possible idea, the social disparity, and relate it. And that would relate it even more to the start and end of your essay, because it would provide the reader with a connection from the lyrics of the song even more to the beginning, the origin of blues, to the end and to the development of it. So that's just one way. You don't have to do that. Like,
that helps.
It's your paper. You don't have to change it, and you don't have to do that. But that's a theme that you could possibly explore.
Okay.
And it would involve not so much like erasing your paper, because it's a very good paper, but significantly retooling it and refining it to fit that argument that you're making. Specifically, the section that you get into about the song, where you can talk about it in that context. And still bring in, the stuff you're talking about here, these specific examples. You can still use them, but you can use them to relate to the theme you're addressing. So, yeah, that took a little while for us to both figure out how to address that. But, that could be a theme you could explore, just grammatically how it's set up. The use of, vivid and excruciating language, how that completely reflected how African Americans were treated. That's another way you could talk about it. So that's like a different way of approaching it, instead of this is verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, sense imagery is here, this is here, this is here. You can incorporate all of this throughout the analyzation of the song by addressing it in a certain context. Do you have any questions about any other parts? Or it's very well written. I'd be proud of this. You should be proud of this paper, and happy with it, because it's clear you put a lot of work into it, and it is a very good paper. And honestly, no writing is ever perfect. I think that even papers that I write, when you write, and same with film or TV, because I'm a film and television major, and papers that I write, I'll finish a paper and be done with it, but even after you hand it in, you think that there's, I think I could have refine this more. I could have improved on that. So,
I was feeling.
no writing is ever perfect, and getting a B is awesome and great because for Mr. G, he's not an easy grader, and it's just about taking this B paper and streamlining it into an A and just making it even more of a clear focus. Because the more focused the argument is, the stronger it'll be. And here you talk about the history, we go into it, and we talk about the performance, and then contextualizing it in a thematic way, the analyzation of the song, in the themes you're talking about at the beginning, the social injustice, or another theme that works with the paper would provide an even smoother flow, that it's not just analyzing the sense imagery and the language of the song for the sake of analyzing it, it's analyzing it and applying it to the argument that you're making, to the point that you're making.
Okay.
So then your suspense, you would get suspense through that because you would be building up to this point of how the song is so effective, in what way. So it's not that this needs to be rewritten, it's just if you plan on revising it, refine it and address it to serve that theme if you're structuring it in that way. Or walk out of here, don't change anything, and that's okay with me because we're just here to help you guys refine your writing, and you don't have to agree with what we're helping you with, and you don't have to even take it into consideration if you don't want to. So if you want to walk away and change one sentence, that's
I'll go home and change it.
That's fine, and that's okay with me because it's your writing and it's your paper, and that's the most important part. It's finding your voice. It's not our voice that should be on this page. It's yours. So do you have any other questions or stuff you want to go over?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it helped a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We'll be here. I think Thursday we're tutoring too. There will be people here from 6 to 9, and then I don't know if we will the week of Thanksgiving. But when is this paper? When do you have to give the revision back to them?
I think I actually wrote it on the 27th, so that's Tuesday
After Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So. Yeah, you have a good amount of time. And I bet if you talk to him and said you wanted to bring in even another revised version of this in for tutoring on Tuesday the 27th, that he might let you hand it in on Thursday because he's a very reasonable guy, but I can't speak for him. So yeah, just take your writing to the next level. Just it's there and it's clear that you know how to write a paper, that you know how to structure and organize your thoughts. Just refine it and rework it and just organize it even more structurally. And this idea of thematically would break up the monotony of addressing verse 1, verse 2, verse 3. Sense imagery, observations, this just more observations. The observations you make are very clear and worth making, and they're great observations, but take them and use them for an argument or the theme that you want to address. Because they're there, just use them for the point you want to make. Mm-hmm. And the observations you use, you want them to serve the point you're making. So thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And good luck with the revisions and everything.
Thanks. I'll see you soon.
No problem. And you don't have to change anything if you don't want to.
That's right, I definitely will.
Any comments about tutoring?
It's great. It's very helpful.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah, no problem.